I mean, Derwin James just absolutely took over this football game tonight. He was a heat-seeking missile. He's lined up right here, and he's just gonna run a stunt. He's gonna end up going like this, and then coming right down. Watch this, guys. Boom, man, right through the tackle. This sack is credited to Khalil Mack, but it's caused because of Derwin James. Guys, he just runs right through the tackle, right through Jenny, and then Khalil Mack, of course, has to just get by Jenny, who's already stunned by what Derwin just did, and he's able to wrap up Gino and bring him down to the ground. I mean, just unbelievable. And you thought that play was good? How about this? So Derwin, he's lined up. All he's doing is just reading Jacoby Myers. You notice how he's not looking at Gino? You might be wondering, why is he doing that? Because he's playing the ball. So he's just focused on Myers. You know, Myers is coming down. He's just running a vert. And he's just going to match him. And then here you go, Gino doing his drop back, firing it down the field. And then see, now Derwin is turning. Now his eyes are on the football. He's looking up at it. And all he's going to do is just put his hand up, get a piece of this ball. It's in the air long enough for Dante Jackson to come down with a pick. It's just a thing of beauty, just hiding the coverage as well. And back to this play. So Derwin is lined up here. You can see he's right in the middle. It's very confusing for Gino to have to read this so quickly. Again, Derwin just comes right down. Jenny steps in to block, but Derwin runs right through the both of them, and then Mac's able to get in there and get the sack. Najee Harris, 3rd and 6, picks up the first down. That's going to do it, guys. 20-9 Charger victory. We didn't run the ball that well tonight. We'll get into that in a second. But this is just so awesome to see a safety do this. Derwin was great in coverage. He was great at rushing the passer. It wasn't even that play. He also did a good job. He was literally double teamed on that 4th and 5 when the Raiders got a second chance after the Hampton fumble. They had two linemen lined up on Derwin to help. That's how much havoc he was wreaking tonight. All right, well, now that the game is officially over, we can talk about how it went. So, like I said, 20-9. Justin Herbert, 2 touchdowns, 242 yards. The Chargers didn't run the ball well tonight. 26 for 81. That's 3.1 yards per carry. Now, Herbert did have a couple of knees at the end of this game, which factors into that. But this was certainly a defensive game for both sides. Quentin Johnson had a 60-yard touchdown catch. Now, Herbert as well also threw another one to Keenan Allen, who looked like a man possessed, had that 4th down catch, and then the tutty in the back right corner of the end zone. But the defense stole the show. It couldn't have played any better. Geno Smith throws 3 interceptions, 24 for 43, 180 yards. I'm trying not to laugh because I'm in pain, like literally, but how can you not? That is insane. A 37 passer rating. Ashton Jenny just 43 yards on the ground, under 4 yards per carry. Geno was running for his life. Jacoby Myers, 68 yards. They did a good job of taking Brock Bowers out of the game, 38 yards. I'm not going to take too much away from Bowers because he didn't practice all week and was a true game-time decision. But Derwin James, 7 tackles, 2 pass breakups. Looked like an absolute man possessed, not to mention what he did getting after the quarterback. This is one of my favorite Derwin games in a long time. He was the best player on the field, and it was so much fun. Martin Hampton, he did lose a fumble. Just 8 for 24. He did have one of my favorite runs so far of the season where he just broke a couple of tackles and then stiff-armed a Raiders defender into his own coach. But, man, you cannot be fumbling the ball like that. Now, you can blame the Raiders. You can blame the Chargers. It's 1 in the morning. I live in the East Coast, if you guys didn't know, so bear with me here. There's no reason a tight end should be blocking Max Crosby. I get, yeah, he fumbled this and that. But, man, you've got to hold on to the football, and you've got to do a better job of sort of scheming Crosby and make sure he can't take over this game. Yeah, I didn't think Greg Roman made the wisest decisions at time in this one. Like, for example, the Chargers get down to the goal line and they run 3 straight times and kick a field goal, which, sure, they go up 20-9. But if you guys, actually, it was 20-6. Sorry, at the time it was 20-6, which is a 14-point game. That's 2 touchdowns. With the way the defense was playing, yeah, that's good enough. But, man, you got to go for that. Get aggressive here. Like, what does that say to the fan base and to the team if you're not willing to take a chance down there? Even if you don't get it, your defense literally would have to give up nearly 100 yards for them to score. With Justin Herbert as your quarterback, you've got to take chances. You've got to take a risk. Now, you shouldn't have run the ball 3 times to begin with. I get 1 or 2, but, man, just play action there. You have weapons, Johnston. You've got Keenan Allen. You got McConkey. Hell, you've got Keandre Lambert-Smith, if you really want to put four receivers out there, which the Chargers did a lot of against the Chiefs, Will Disley, I thought, had a super, super quiet game, just a catch for 7 yards. Roman overall, he did scheme up a couple of nicely done plays, but he's got to get this run game going. He did not run the ball well against the Chiefs, and then against the Raiders, it was the same concept. Very similar to last season. Got to get it going. Najee Harris is a guy that I think probably deserves more carry. I was one of those people who was like, hey, let's see more Hampton, but why not give it to Najee? You paid for him to be here. He's a veteran. He runs hard. Let's see what he can do. 8 for 28, 8 for 24 for Hampton. I mean, that's just not going to get it done. Like, these guys should be getting, at least probably 50 yards each a game rushing, and then what they get for receiving as well. So, yeah, I didn't love the offense by any means. I thought they left a lot on the table. Herbert missed some throws. I thought the Raiders' front played well. This game really just came down to turnovers. The Chargers took full advantage of it. And Cameron Dicker, as crazy as this sounds, if you're not a Charger fan, if you are a Charger fan, you'll probably agree with me. I mean, Dicker's on his way to becoming one of the best kickers to ever play the game of football. He's statistically the most accurate quarterback through his first 100 kicks. He made both of his tonight, including a 38-yarder. Knocked down both his extra points. I like J.K. Scott a lot, man. This dude's hang time is crazy on those punts at a 56-yarder. But Dicker, he's just a weapon. Every time he's out there, it feels like it's going in. And that's something that the Chargers just take advantage of as well. But once you get down in the goal line, I don't care who you're playing. Even if you're up big and a field goal, cuts it to 14, you've got to score touchdowns. Like, the Chargers need to score touchdowns. They've got to be aggressive, and they've got to believe in Justin Herbert. That's kind of one of my very few complaints was not letting Herbert do his thing. Certainly, of course, the run game was bad. You definitely don't want to tighten on Max Crosby. So there's a couple of things we'll look at the tape, but overall it was a really good win. The defense, it looks even better than it was last season. It neutralized Mahomes. The Chiefs couldn't run the ball. Now, Mahomes did make a couple of throws, but overall, they kept him in check. It wasn't like a typical Patrick Mahomes game against the Chargers. And then against the Raiders, they didn't get anything going. I mean, the Raiders, they do finish over 200 yards, but not by much, man. I mean, they struggled to move the ball. They literally turned it over on downs. Amari Hampton immediately fumbled the ball, and then the Raiders got it back in 4 plays and nothing. And there was a missed call. Should have been a pass interference on Derwin, but that's football. Like, they miss calls. The Raiders were gifted literally another chance, and they still couldn't do anything. I mean, there was like a couple of plays where the Raiders, got something done. They had a 25-yard play to Myers. Thornton had a 20-yard catch, but outside of that, there was literally nothing in this game. The Raiders, they couldn't scheme guys open, and the thing about the Chargers is they don't have to blitz because they've got such a good front, but they'll definitely mix it in. Jesse Maynard will send pressure. He'll send Derwin, of course, to get after him like he was doing a ton of, but Derwin also can drop back into coverage. You don't know what's coming. I mean, is he dropping back? Is he rushing? And you're literally single-handedly focusing him out so that way you know where he is because he's an all-pro. Like, he's a future Hall of Famer. And, Khalil Mack did end up leaving the game, had a cast, like a sling on his arm. Hopefully he's okay because, certainly we're not going far without Khalil Mack. But just the 1-2 punch of Mack and Derwin is just absolutely unstoppable tonight, man. It's so much fun. But, I got to show a lot of love to Dante Jackson, Alohi Gilman. Henley had an interception. I mean, the whole defense, it's not just the two superstars. They're going to get the attention. But I love the way these guys played. I believe there was like 8 or 9 different Charger players that batted a pass down as well. Who had a really good game is Naquan Jones. I thought he stepped up and made plays. Collectively, this defense came to play. Cam Hart had a super good play where he came up and hit a Raiders offensive player immediately in the flat, and then he left with an injury. Hopefully he's going to be good. Tarheeb Still, of course. But just the defense balled out. Even like Jazir Terrell, like everyone who came in just stayed ready. And I'm excited about just the rest of the way. Denzel Perryman was placed on the IR. I'm not going to lie. I haven't been following Charger news this week leading up to the game. I look out there and I see a former face, Tony Jefferson Unk, and I'm like, wait, he's back? He was elevated, of course, from the practice squad. He made several plays. Speaking of Tony Jefferson, he saved several big plays. I don't know why he didn't make the roster. I thought that was a little bit crazy. But, man, I'm just amped up to be a Charger fan. Like, we're finally in a spot where you can feel good. Man, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm tired as hell. But, yeah, guys, peace.